Squawk Alley, biotech and gene sequencing company 10x Genomics surging in early trading after its debut over at the NASDAQ. You can see with an IPO price of $39, it's now trading at $56.71, so it is up about 45% in these first trades right now. Joining us first on CNBC is 10x Genomics co-founder and CEO Serge Saxonov. Serge, congratulations on going public today.
Thank you.
In terms of 10x Genomics, the company itself, gene sequencing, I think let's just start with our viewers a little bit about what that specifically entails and what part of the gene sequencing market you are focused on.
So, really, our foundational premise for the company is that the world really understands very little biology, and there's way more to understand in the future. And our goal is to enable this understanding to ultimately advance human health, figure out things like addressing cancer, infectious diseases, Alzheimer's. And really our goal to become really, really good at building tools and technologies to enable scientists to do amazing things to advance our understanding of biology.
I want to get into your vision for the future in this market in just a moment. But first, as my colleague Meg Terrell has pointed out to me, Illumina, the biggest maker of genome sequencing machines, it's been under pressure for the last few quarters, in part because of weakness in the direct-to-consumer market. I realize that's not what you're focused on, but in general, when you look across the industry, when you look across the sector, how would you gauge health right now?
The industry, well, there's certainly a lot of excitement, a lot of great companies that are doing really good things. Illumina had a little bit of a bump in the road, perhaps, but like the ultimate future looks really, really promising and really big. So I don't have, when I look at the long term, which tends to be my outlook, I have no concerns at all.
Serge, how big is this market? How many institutions, companies are going to be actually doing gene sequencing and have at least a somewhat predictable need for the tools?
Yeah, so initially our focus is on the research discovery market, and you should think in terms of there's about hundreds of thousands of biology labs around the world, and each of them is a potential customer. That is really the market, the initial market. And think in terms of academic research and also biopharmaceutical companies. Ultimately, all of this will also move into the clinic and enable all kinds of new cures and new diagnostics, and ultimately advance human health in really fundamental ways.
A lot of focus right now on the federal budget and what the fiscal year 2020 numbers ultimately look like. The fact that this sector tends to be influenced by NIH spending, what are your expectations for next year and beyond?
So as far as we're concerned, that tends to be less of a factor for our business, just because there's so much demand for our products, and the fluctuations in the NIH budget tend not to have much of an effect on our business, and there's lots of other sources of funding as we look to the future, and many other kind of avenues where, especially in biopharmaceutical industry, where that really does not have much of an effect.
And Serge, lastly, in terms of the future, when we look out, I mean, this technology is still, and this industry is still very much in early days. What do you envision that future looking like and the applications of gene sequencing when you look out 5, 10, even 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, we tend to look in terms of what are the big health challenges out there in the world. My ultimate ambition is we want to enable new science in order to cure cancer, in order to, as I mentioned, address neurodegeneration, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and these tools, these kinds of technologies will absolutely be essential and crucial in enabling that. So when I think in terms of future opportunities, they're really, really massive.